excuse to just like lay down, right? Not do anything. No, you don't want to do that. But just don't do any jogging or anything like that right now until the air gets a little bit better into the evening today. My next guest is somebody that I happened to catch on TV on Sunday morning on Sharpton Show. Now, don't ask me what the hell I was doing watching Sharpton on MSNBC on a Sunday morning, because it's not something I make a habit of doing. But he had a guest on. His name is Corey Stewart, and Corey Stewart is an American international trade attorney and politician, currently serving his fourth term as an at-large chair of the Board of Supervisors of Prince William County in Virginia. He's also a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in Virginia, looking to unseat Tim Kaine, who, of course, was the Democrat running mate of Hillary Clinton back in 2016. And what caught my eyes and my attention with Corey Stewart is that he stood up to Sharpton on television on Sunday morning. They were talking about racial issues. And to quote Mr. Stewart here, he told Sharpton, there are Americans of every single race, every single religion, every single ethnicity that are struggling with the same things. As long as we continue to divide Americans by race, and you've made a career out of dividing people by race, you've been a race hustler your entire career, you've made a lot of money at it, and you haven't bothered to pay your taxes, and all you do is divide Americans by race. And that caught my attention, because that's what I would say to Al Sharpton if I had a chance to say so. Corey Stewart is with me on the line right now. Mr. Stewart, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Barry. Thanks for having me on your show today.
So the whole idea of why Sharpton had you on in the first place is they're trying to peg you as a racist down there in Virginia. In fact, some of the press is calling you a neo-Confederate. And they're trying to peg you as a racist because of some comments that you made last year in defense of leaving historic statues up rather than ripping them down and trying to erase history. Am I correct?
That's right. People call me politically incorrect, but I just say it the way it is. And as the left started taking down historical monuments, Confederate statues, I said it was wrong. And then I've led a big crackdown on illegal immigration here in Virginia. And so, the liberals have been calling me a racist for a long, long time. It's become so common, it doesn't even faze me anymore.
So your showdown with Sharpton on Sunday, I mean, were you thinking about doing this, or was this something that just came out at the moment because you got tired of Sharpton pushing?
Well, it was that was the day, that was the 1-year anniversary of what happened down in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And so he thought he was going to get me on there and try to, link me to that and try to, put me into a corner. But, I knew he was going to try to do that, and I think I was ready for him.
All right, so are you a racist?
No, absolutely not. And, I believe, I grew up in Minnesota, for goodness sakes. I just think it's wrong to be taking down Confederate monuments. If whatever the reason is that the monuments are placed up there, you just don't take them down. I've got no connection to Southern history or Virginia history personally, but this is American history. You got to leave it. You got to leave it the way it is. That doesn't mean you support, the Confederacy. It doesn't mean you support any of the things that they stood for. It just means that you don't take down monuments. You leave it the way it is, and it's politically correct. The country today, somebody's got to stand up to it.
So basically what you're suggesting here is these folks are continuing to try to relitigate history from 150, 200 years ago, and then you're saying, look, we don't forget it, but it's time to move on and address maybe some of the issues that have resulted from our history.
Well, the thing is, in Virginia, it's very similar up north, I understand that, but in Virginia, there's just a state that history.
We're losing you with your phone. Yeah, we're losing you with your phone. I'm not sure why, but you're drifting in and out on me here.
Okay. Well, Virginia is a state that is steeped in history. We love our history. It's this is the state of Madison and Washington and Jefferson and yes, Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee. And I just think it's just the wrong thing to take down monuments to those gentlemen. It's we have to leave it up, and we can learn from our history, but you don't tear it down.
So tell us a little bit about yourself politically. Now, you're a supporter of Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, in fact, very strong supporter. I chaired his campaign in 2016 for president in Virginia. You know, not that I agree with President Trump on everything, but I think the guy is doing a great job. I think he's a great president. He's done a lot to revive the economy across the country. He's securing the border. He's doing whatever he thinks that the country needs to get done. And he's taken a lot of shots for it. He's taken a lot of grief for it. And I think we need to respect him for being willing to stand up, even on very controversial issues. That's what I've done as well, and I'm going to be supporting him in the U.S. Senate from Virginia.
So what was the issue with the immigration that caused you some grief? You wanted the police to be able to more closely monitor by checking IDs, right, or finding out where people are from and whether they're here legally, and you took a lot of heat for that?
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, I got it successfully passed. It was the nation's toughest crackdown on illegal immigration. What we did in Virginia, what I did in Virginia, it was copied in Arizona, but it's very common sense. If you commit a crime and the police arrest you, we check your immigration status. And we don't care what race a person is, what ethnicity they are. We don't care what language they speak. We check immigration status of every single person. And we've so far handed 8,200 illegal aliens over to the federal government. Our crime rate dropped by about 50% in 2 years. It's a tremendous success. And, you know, currently, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, and that is that for the most part, when somebody's arrested and they're here illegally, instead of being deported, they're released right back into the community. That's got to end. We need to do what I did 10 years ago, which is somebody's here illegally, they commit a crime, they're deported. End of story.
And so you're running against, do you have a primary opponent, or is it just you and Tim Kaine in the fall?
It just me and Tim Kaine, because I won the three-way Republican primary on June 12th.
Okay, so it's you and Tim Kaine. Last I read, and I don't believe the polls and I don't believe the press all that often, but last I read you were down by 18 points against Kaine. Is that accurate?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the poll was it was not a poll. It was just a random digit dial poll. But despite that, I mean, my challenge right now is to get up my name recognition in Virginia. That will happen. That is going to happen between now and November. But the real poll result that needs to be focused in on, which of course the mainstream media doesn't talk about, that is this. You know, do Virginians want to re-elect Tim Kaine or not re-elect Tim Kaine? And he's losing that 45 to 49, which means, and he's got 100% name ID, and he's got far less than half of Virginia residents who want to re-elect him. So given that situation, I've got a very, very good shot at dethroning him.
He's one scary dude.
You know what? The guy's absolutely crazy. I mean, he was down in Latin America, and you'll remember this. You remember liberation theology and the Sandinistas and all the far left-wing radicals. And there were a lot of far left-wing radicals that were coming out of America's universities. And they were going down to Central America, and they were supporting these left-wing regimes and left-wing movements. He was one of them. He went down there, and he still is today. And he called Antifa, these left-wing thugs that are attacking cops, attacking reporters. He called that, he refused to condemn it, and he called it energetic activism. Energetic activism, he thinks it's a good thing. In fact, his son is a member of Antifa. So this guy, he truly is a radical, true believer in radical left-wing ideology.
Yeah, we've got one of those up here too, and Elizabeth Warren. She, talking about the, the criminal justice system being a racist from front to back, and that basically put a target on the backs of all of our police officers out there. And so they're pushing back. But this kind of rhetoric can't stand. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they call you guys Nazis, and they call you guys racists, or in the case of you, a neo-Confederate. And yet they're out there also, the police are racist, and the police are no good. I mean, this is dangerous stuff.
Yeah, it really is, and it needs to be challenged. I mean, when we have, when those of us on the right side of the political aisle, when there are right-wing thugs or a really radical right-wing group like that, we condemn it. We always condemn our own, radicals. But the left wing doesn't. They're turning a blind eye to it. And you know what? That's a very dangerous thing, because it's like they're condoning this left-wing violence, because they're saying, well, they're attacking these right-wing guys and, they're anti-fascist. Well, you know what? There's no excuse for violence, for attacking somebody violently for their political beliefs in this country. But that is something that the left wing is turning a blind eye to, something that they're condoning. And as long as that continues to happen, these left-wing groups like Antifa will continue to grow and attack even more police officers and more citizens.
Well, that's their base. What can they say about it? It's their base, right? What did you think of Andrew Cuomo yesterday, saying that America was never that great?
Yeah. I mean, look, I was on his brother's show, Chris Cuomo's show, and they're a very left-wing family. This is how they truly believe. I think the guy was being honest in what he thought.
I agree with you. I think he was. Yeah, I think so too.
I know he tried to walk it back later, but I think that's what he really thinks. If you look at American history, political history, the Republicans, our problem is we always back down. The Democrats, though, their problem is they always overreach. They always go too far. The Democrats back in the late 60s and early 1970s, especially 1972's election, they nominated a far left-wing guy in McGovern, and the party took a long time to recover from that. And I think that's what we're seeing right now is the Democrats have, the lunatics have taken over the asylum here. And the very far left-wing radicals have taken over the Democratic Party.
There's no question about it. I think you made a very astute observation about Cuomo, though. I think Cuomo does sincerely believe that America's not great. He comes from that group that believes that America has a lot to apologize for, and that we've done a lot of wrong, and that we've got a lot of flaws. Our Constitution is basically flawed, and our whole belief system is basically flawed. So I think he's sincere. You look at somebody like a Hillary Clinton, though, and she's completely different. I mean, she says what she thinks she has to say for political expedience and to win votes. So I don't think she's sincere about a whole lot. But I think Cuomo is sincere in his belief that America has never been great.
Yeah, no, I think he is too. And unfortunately, because I truly believe, I'm going to say this as a Republican, I think America functions best when we have two parties that are functioning and that both love America and they just want the best thing. But right now in this country, we have Republican Party, which is getting bigger, that's reaching out, it's getting working class Americans in a way that it's never been able to do that before. And the Democratic Party is self-destructing. It's gone so far to the left. And it's not just Elizabeth Warren and Tim Kaine, it's the base, this left-wing, far radical base that has taken over that party. And for the politicians who want to succeed inside the Democratic Party, they got to play to it.
Well, where do you think these people are going, though? Because, I've made the observation here a number of times that I don't think that middle-class, middle-aged Democrats have all of a sudden gone from being moderate or middle of the road to the far left. Their party's gone there, but where are these people? They seem to have disappeared. We're not hearing a lot from them. It's kind of just like before Trump got elected, and a whole portion of the electorate just kind of went quiet, went silent for a while, and then they turned down and voted for Trump. Where are these middle-class, middle-aged Democrats? Where are the folks in your state right now that might normally go Democrat, that are looking what's happening to their party moving to the far left? Where are these people?
Well, I think that's a really good question. I think, and I didn't really thought of it that before, but, I think that you've got a lot of Democrats out there, like you said, a lot of them who are middle-aged, who are always kind of just Democrats by tradition or just, maybe liberal on a couple of issues. But I think a lot of them are looking at the Democratic Party today, and I think they're shaking their heads. And many of them are still loyal Democrats, but at some point, a lot of them are truly, you've heard about this walk away movement. I think a lot of them are. And I think a lot of them, when they walk away, they stay politically active, but they do so outside of the Democratic Party, and a lot of them are coming to the Republican Party. I think we're about to see a big wave. I really do believe that. A big wave of more mainstream Democrats that are walking away from the radical wing of which has become the Democratic Party. They're walking away, and they're going to be joining with Republicans.
Corey Stewart, wish you good luck in your race coming up in November. Maybe we'll connect between now and then and, catch up with you and find out how you're making out.
That'd be great.
All right. Corey Stewart, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Corey Stewart, Republican U.S. Senate candidate against Tim Kaine in the election in November down in Virginia. The reason we had him on because he was on MSNBC on Sunday and really took Sharpton to pieces, accusing him of being a race hustler and of not paying his taxes. And, you know, it's about time somebody told Sharpton that to his face. And I was very happy to hear this guy do that. And so we were pleased to be able to connect with him and have him on the program. Let me take a very quick break. We're going to come back and reset and take your calls next. Stay with us. You're listening to 1420 WBSM.
New Bedford's most trusted newsroom, 1420 WBSM.
This is an important